This is exciting. It's the first of a series of chats that we're going to be doing from Innovations for Learning, where we have a conversation with companies that are partnering with our TutorMate programme. Today, I'm going to be talking to Elaine McCulloch, who's the Sage Foundation Manager for UK and Ireland. So welcome, Elaine. As you can see, we're both joining you from our living rooms in the COVID world. But before we get going, I just wanted to give you a quick introduction if you're new to the TutorMate programme and you're watching this. So TutorMate is a virtual volunteering programme that allows corporate volunteers to support a struggling young reader without having to go anywhere. We match children from disadvantaged communities with an adult who supports them through a 30-minute reading session every single week using a specialised online platform. It's really the perfect opportunity for these COVID-battered times. The grown-ups don't need to travel and can volunteer safely, and schools don't have to deal with an influx of visitors, which are difficult for them to manage. Anyway, Sage is one of our fantastic global partners. They support children not just here in England through TutorMate, but also in the USA and Canada. And it's a real pleasure for me to be talking to Elaine about her perspective on virtual volunteering, the work of the Sage Foundation, and the real importance of supporting young people. Welcome, Elaine.
Hey Emma, thank you for having me. Yes, so I am the Sage Foundation Manager for the UK and Ireland. And my role is to work with amazing charities like yourself to enable our 3,000 colleagues to give back to their community.
So, can I kick off maybe just by asking you to tell us a bit about the Sage Foundation, its background and its mission?
Yeah, so Sage Foundation started 5 years ago, and it was to ensure that we were taking action in the communities that we operate in, to demonstrate the purpose just beyond delivery for the shareholders. So we didn't want to be another one of those corporates that just donated money and that was it, but one whose people actually gave cause to their, sorry, May's just jumped on my my cat. Hey May, say hello to everybody. So the CEO at the time realised this and gave us the opportunity to build Sage Foundation. This was then built on the knowledge that Sage's best asset was its people power. And all of our colleagues have 5 full days to volunteer and fundraise. And we call this action philanthropy. And through this, we empower our people to make positive change happen. So last year alone, in the UK and Ireland, we gave 5,000 working days to volunteer, and we raised just under 300,000. And that was including 6 months of the pandemic. So we give our time, our investment, and our capability to give back. But we also invite our partners and our customers to do that with us. And by working together, the Sage community is building more roots into education, work, and entrepreneurialism. And this is for marginalised people. So we work with military, women, but young people. And this is why our partnership with TutorMate is just perfect.
You know, and we continue to be hugely impressed by, not only the work that you do, but also the fact that the organisation has such a strong commitment to volunteering. 5 full days. Yeah, seriously unusual. When it comes to the type of volunteering that the foundation encourages Sage colleagues to get involved in, I know that actually virtual volunteering is something that you've always supported, but perhaps you've been tremendously, particularly active with it since COVID hit. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the creative ways you've engaged staff in volunteering that hasn't been able to be face-to-face, and maybe some of the challenges that colleagues and charity partners have faced?
Yeah, of course. So in the UKI, about a third of our workforce, they're call-based, and they're offering services to our customers 24/7. They often aren't able to take a whole day offline and get out and about. So having a virtual volunteering offer, it gave them a flexible way to give back in short bursts around their workload and our customers' needs. Pre-lockdown, we actually called it desk-based volunteering. But lockdown hit, Sage moved our global workforce to work from home in a period of a week. In the shock at the start of the pandemic, we knew that we had to think creatively in how we could continue to support our charity partners. I mean, Emma, standing still just wasn't an option for us. After 2 weeks, we had our first sort of virtual volunteering event. And within a month, we had our first virtual volunteering day. It was the big virtual day in. And we had over 1,000 colleagues gave their time during this day to volunteer, and we supported 23 charities. So as I said, we had to be creative, and we were thinking differently of ways to help. Many of our charity partners, they were just still reeling with the reality of having to keep a service going, but the huge loss of income that they knew would follow. We suggested ideas and adapted quite early on. So it was like making craft items the charities could sell to generate income, hosting virtual bike maintenance or cooking sessions, letter writing to those isolated or elderly. I mean, we held a virtual disco and we had a fancy dress party. Every activity we did, though, it supported a charity financially, but it kept our colleagues engaged during quite scary and uncertain times. I think my years as a guide leader helped massively at this time. I was like working something from nothing. I was thinking on my feet, and we were trying to keep it simple, but finding ways to make a difference. I mean, I don't know how many times I heard, "I'm not crafty," but we ended up with a huge range of activities and ways our colleagues could give back. I've been working with you guys, for example, the schools were shut, parents were homeschooling. So we opened the TutorMate concept to all of our colleagues and their children. We had our MD reading weekly to a 6-year-old daughter of one of our colleagues. It was giving her mum just like a time for a cuppa, but keeping her daughter going with her reading practice.
Yeah, and I think actually that partnership, that idea we developed together really blazed a trail for a number of other companies that embraced that concept and used it to really help allow people in the business to help each other during lockdown. So if we move away from COVID for a second and the adaptations we've all had to make, it would be good to chat a little bit about the TutorMate programme, and its aims specifically. What is it about the prospect of supporting young readers that you think attracted Sage to support TutorMate? It's probably worth everyone pointing out that Elaine herself is actually a reading volunteer amongst all the other things that she does. So it's particularly useful also to hear from her about her thoughts on what it's like to actually volunteer firsthand.
Yeah, so I've been at Sage now about 2.5 years, and my sole focus is to support our colleagues to volunteer and fundraise, but it doesn't often leave time for me to do any volunteering. So last year, when TutorMate was advertising for the new academic year, I jumped at the chance to sign up. I think reading is a huge passion for me, and it's something I just loved as a child. It gave me confidence, it stretched my imagination. And in my former life, I worked with unemployed teenagers, so I know firsthand that low literacy skills, it just hinders job prospects, confidence and life chances. So every effort should really be made to support children when they're young with their reading. I think the excitement of reading to a new person can really keep a little one engaged. It gives them a new voice to hear and just a new person to impress. I think my little reading buddy last year had parents that were born overseas. So helping him develop his pronunciation and his vowels, it just made my heart swell with pride. And I was lucky enough to meet my reading buddy last Christmas, and I brought the whole class books. I never thought in my life, Emma, that I would have to learn the phonetic alphabet, but it soon became a highlight of my week. I think my 30 minutes of calm and fun in the craziness of my job. I just love it.
Now, that's so nice to hear, actually, Elaine, and I think you've really hit the nail on the head about what we're attempting to achieve with the TutorMate programme. Sort of broadening it out from your own personal perspective, there's obviously been lots, hasn't there, in the media, in the news, about the attainment gap in this country and the fact that many children will be left behind in their education as a result of COVID. Do you think that has resonated with Sage staff when they're choosing to give their time to something like TutorMate?
Oh, absolutely. I think Sage colleagues recognise how lucky we are that we have this time to give back, and we're able to support the next generation of our workforce to get the best start by developing their reading skills. I think it's well documented how large class sizes are now, the pressures on family and teachers to keep every single child developing. So us being able to virtually support some of these children using technology on a one-to-one basis at a time that they choose is a massive key driver for them selecting TutorMate.
Yeah, that's really helpful to hear. So you know, last but not least, it might be good to just end our conversation perhaps with some reflections on what the future might hold for virtual volunteering. Do you have any words of wisdom, particularly for other companies as they think about expanding this offer and what the next years might hold?
Yeah, I think virtual volunteering will continue to thrive long after COVID-19. I think many charities are now catching up to the reality of this, and it will be the norm for a while longer. But that actually, by adapting their model, they can engage more people to support them. I think the biggest learning for us was those short bursts of volunteering, the 30 minutes reading for TutorMate, the hour-long lunchtime sessions, the sharing ideas. It actually increased engagement as people could give back around work, around homeschooling, I mean, fighting for toilet rolls. I think as a global business, many of our colleagues, they're part of teams spread across 23 countries that we operate in. So offering virtual volunteering gives us the chance to do something together. We held big virtual events across multiple time zones. So the volunteering was going on long after we'd gone to bed in the UK. I think for me, Emma, the legacy, this will be the legacy for COVID-19, that we can bring teams together online using technology through giving back and showing that you can change someone's life in 30 minutes every week. So words of wisdom, be creative with your ideas and just embrace the new. And it was some of the activities we did, volunteering, no, but we're in a new world. So new rules apply, right? I think we're giving back and making a difference, and keeping people going through exceptionally difficult times. I know in financially hard times for companies, to enable staff time offline to volunteer can be a real challenge, but doing something virtually from your desk for 30 minutes a week is totally doable for every company. I think organisations like TutorMate, you take the pain out of arranging everything. Then all you have to do is click, read, have a giggle, and know that one day your little reading buddy's life has been improved because you took the time to read to them.
Elaine, thank you. I've really enjoyed our conversation today. You know, and I'm looking forward to our partnership growing and developing in the years to come. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you. And for the little guest appearance from May while we're having a cup of tea. So thank you, Emma.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.